Arthur A.N.R. Robinson was the third president of Trinidad and Tobago and the only president to also serve as Prime Minister of the country. He is remembered for surviving the 1990 coup attempt, for his influential role in the creation of the International Criminal Court, and his handling of the appointment of a Prime Minister after the 2002 general election. Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson was born on the 16th of December 1926 in Tobago. He was educated at Castara Methodist School, where his father was a head teacher, before moving to Bishop's High School. Robinson read for a degree from London University before he was called to the bar in London at the Inner Temple in 1951. He graduated in philosophy, politics, and economics at Oxford. Robinson returned to Trinidad, where he practiced as a barrister. However, life in politics beckoned. He made his entry into politics in 1956 as a founding member of the People's National Movement. Robinson was elected a member of Parliament of the West Indies Federation, and after the Federation collapsed, he became Trinidad and Tobago's first Minister of Finance, a post he held from 1961 to 1967. Robinson went on to form the Democratic Action Congress in 1971. His party would win both Tobago seats in the 1976 election. He worked for internal self-government for Tobago, a struggle which led to the passage of the Tobago House of Assembly Act in 1980. In 1986, after contesting several elections as part of a series of coalitions, Robinson led the National Alliance for Reconstruction to a landslide victory in the general elections. However, his time as Prime Minister from 1986 to 1991 was a difficult one. He led the country at a time when the currency was devalued, the crime rate and the unemployment rate rose, and the country was forced to take a loan from the International Monetary Fund. During this time, Robinson would push for the creation of the International Criminal Court at the United Nations. He also played a key role in the Granans Agreement of 1989, which deepened the integration of the Caribbean Economic Bloc, CARICOM. In 1990, members of the radical Islamist group the Jamaat al-Muslimin took Robinson and most of his cabinet hostage in the House of Parliament. He was brutally beaten and shot. Robinson was eventually released after 6 days of fighting, during which 20 people were killed. In 1991, Robinson's A.N.R. lost the general election, but 4 years later he was back as a government minister, this time as part of a coalition. Robinson was elected as Trinidad and Tobago's third president in 1997, the first prime minister to do so. Robinson's time as president was remembered for his role in the appointment of a prime minister after the 2002 general elections. The election ended in a tie, and President Robinson appointed the leader of the opposition, Mr. Patrick Manning, as prime minister. Robinson would leave office as president in March 2003. Mr. Robinson married the economist Patricia Rawlins, and they had 2 children, Anne Margaret and David. Mrs. Robinson passed away in 2009. Mr. Robinson died on the 9th of April 2014. President Robinson's role in the creation of the International Criminal Court deserves special mention. He first became committed to the idea of creating a permanent tribunal to prosecute people for crimes against humanity when he was a student at Oxford in the 1950s. The concept itself dated back to the League of Nations, the forerunner to the United Nations. Robinson and a fellow student, Robert Wurtzel, attempted to revive the concept while at Oxford. In 1972, they created the foundation for the establishment of an international criminal court, with Robinson as director. As Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Robinson was able to table a motion at the UN General Assembly to have the court set up. It was eventually set up in 1996 and was established in the Netherlands in 2002. Its first verdict was delivered in 2012, 2 years before President Robinson died. Arthur A.N.R. Robinson has been honored in many ways for his contribution to Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. In 1997, he was awarded this country's highest honor, which was then called the Trinity Cross. In 1998, Mr. Robinson was honored with the Order of the Caribbean Community. In 2011, the international airport in Tobago was renamed in his honor, the A.N.R. Robinson International Airport. That same year, he received Tobago's highest honor, the Tobago Medal of Honor.